Welcome everyone to another episode of Football Armchair Experts, where we pretend to know everything, but actually we know nothing. Of course, match week 33 was just over. We will be previewing match week 34 as well as some FA Cup, Champions League action as well, a bit of championship update, and of course a little bit of local flavour as well as league updates from Manjun. But of course, it would take a fool to predict how the top four race would end. But of course, here we have no shortage of fools. Liverpool fan Imran, Newcastle fan Manjun, Chelsea fan Robin, I myself, Mark, I'm a Fulham fan. Arsenal, Spurs, both slipped up and dropped the ball on the top four race to let Manchester United back in. They, of course, had to rely on Cristiano Ronaldo's hat-trick to squeak by Norwich City.
Okay, to be fair, I did watch like 15 minutes of the game.
Okay.
Then it seems like Man U a bit incoherent. Like players were already coming back defending against Norwich counter-attacks. So I think that's why they make Norwich look like kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, like Norwich passes were like freaking good that day. Like all the true passes going through. But I think mostly it's because the squad was just a bit incoherent. Like their front three was always at the front. Like, I don't know what that midfield was like doing. So I would like to maybe give praise to Norwich, but I think it's mostly like Man U giving them a chance by not really defending so well. But for a moment, I thought Norwich actually had a chance to win the game because their counter-attacks are pretty decent.
But of course, I guess the big news coming out of Manchester United is that Erik, Ten Hag is very close to already signing on the dotted line to be the next Manchester United manager. How many players do you think, like just a ballpark figure, needs to be changed from their starting 11?
Wow, at least 3, I guess. So centre back and midfield mostly.
Okay. 3.
That's a surprisingly low amount.
Okay.
That's me being kind.
Okay. So in run, how many would it be for you?
I mean, realistically, you cannot make too many changes every transfer window, right? So 3 is a realistic amount, but ideally you want half the squad gone. Minimally.
Ideally, you want to change half the team for it to be a good squad. But realistically, if you're only going to be able to change 3, then can you say that getting top 4 is perhaps not? It shouldn't be like the minimum in which Man U require next season.
No, I think even like getting the 3 and then top 4 is the minimum. Yeah, I mean even if they cannot, what I meant by changing the minimally half the squad, that is to be getting into the title race. Not that you'll even be favourites or winning it, but at least be at, I guess, Chelsea's level. Chelsea is like sort of in the middle, right? Like not like a bit below the title race, but above the rest of the top 4. Like you're not really in the top 4 better. And I guess in any other season without Man City and Liverpool being at this level, if it was like the olden days where it was Man U, Arsenal, where you can win the league with like 80 points, right? I think Chelsea would have still been it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think their squad is quality, to be honest.
Okay.
Right. Like maybe, like I don't know what's going on. Like there's cancer within the squad, right? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like it might be the manager, it might be some players, it might be Ronaldo. So I do believe like getting a new manager that is seemingly good might do the trick, even with this squad. I think so. Perhaps they can add a few, like I won't say fringe players, but then like better role players to like enhance their bench, because it's kind of meh in terms of offensive.
Okay, so you're saying like the starting 11 that started against Norwich,
it should be fine to get top 4, I think, if a good manager. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just the whole club. It's like the players, the manager, the board.
It's the club.
It's just the club as a whole.
Throw away the club, start anew.
But I think you can't really change the owners or the board because they are the owners, right? So and then you can't change all the players also. So the realistic step is to get a manager in. So you have to get at you need to get someone at Klopp's level to turn things around, because that's what he did at Liverpool, right? After decades of no success, then suddenly now we are in the thick of things for everything. So you really need like this sort of once in a generation manager. It's not now, it's at the club. It's like the players blaming the manager blaming the board blaming the, I don't know, like everybody blaming each other, right? Then the fans just blaming all of them, then like that.
You might be thinking, of course, all of us are not Manchester United fans. What do we know about Manchester United? So of course we spoke with a Manchester United fan to get to know what he thinks about Erik Ten Hag coming into his club next season. Our resident Manchester United expert Sri here to join us, but it's not been going well quite so much for his club. Since we last spoke, we were still a little bit lukewarm about Ralph Rangnick, and we've now had a long enough runway to more or less gauge how good or not so good he is as a manager?
Well, I think I still echo the same sentiments as I did in the past. Like, I was really skeptical about, like firing like Oli and getting in Ralph, just to kind of have worse results. And I think the fact that Ralph doesn't even come from like a like a premier background, he hasn't even managed like a title winning club. And even though his tactics are like similar to Jurgen or same like Jurgen pressing and stuff like that, but he doesn't have the pedigree clearly. And it's really just a caretaker role. So, and I think he's trying his best in his caretaker role, to his defense. But the players aren't playing for him, which is very sad. And it seems like they kind of know what to do from like midfield, but when it comes to attack, it's just like sloppy. It's not strung together. So it's been horrendous to watch. My God.
I don't know if it's fairly or unfairly. Harry Maguire always picked out for his mistakes, for looking a bit foolish sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean Harry came in with a really high price tag. So I think everyone is kind of right to expect the the level of performances from him, and the fact that he's also the captain. He has to set the example in the back line for the team. So when when people like Lindelof are like so much more aggressive in terms of like chasing the ball, and it's Lindelof, it does show a lot of character that's missing from Harry Maguire. Like, it's like when he wants to play well, suddenly he will show up. And then he'll score some goals, and then he'll post about it on Instagram, and then like boom, okay. And then suddenly everyone loves him again. But being at this level, I think you have to be a bit more consistent, like in your form. It's a bit like Pogba when he had this like off and on period. And to be honest, I still don't know whether Pogba is the right choice for the team. I used to be a huge Pogba supporter, but I think he lost a lot of his consistency when he came to United. So the Prem is hard lah. Like, it's hard for any new player to come in to adapt, and that too for like a top 4 team, even more hard.
Marcus Rashford, of course, the name comes to mind with Manchester United youngster that has grown into the first team really well, but he kind of seemed to have lost his way these 1-2 year. I mean, where do you stand on him? Some Manchester United fans feel like now that he's starting to get into his prime age and he's not showing it, maybe it's time to sell.
I think it just depends on his play style. I think Rashford did the best under Ole, or even like Louis van Gaal. Like, it's a bit more of that hold up football that allows him to not track back so much. I think the problem was when they started getting the attackers really like track back into defense, and he can't, like, he doesn't have the physicality for it. It's an out and out attacker. So he can't be expected to go into attack and tread that defense. So at a left wing position, it's not the perfect position for him. So I guess that's my take. So I'm still waiting to see, like, if Ten Hag does come in, whether they're able to actually put him into a position where he's back into his favorite like center forward position, and you get an out and out winger to just support on the left. Maybe that's Ronaldo for the time being. And Jadon Sancho, of course, taking out the right. And that's his birth, let's just leave it at that. Ilanga coming in, which is great. Good talent development there. So, I don't know, the future is actually kind of bright, but I think it just takes the right organization. Because the team is there. It's just the play style that's kind of janky.
Okay, interesting that you say that the players are there. So in that sense, and you did also mention Erik Ten Hag. What do you make of Erik Ten Hag? I think previously we were still saying, could be him, it could be Pochettino. Is it the right decision to go with Ten Hag instead?
I feel like given the, if he was given the same opportunities as Oli did, given the same slack as Oli did, for the same amount of time, maybe he can do something better with his like managerial credentials. So maybe take some time.
Will the Manchester United fan base be patient enough with Ten Hag, or or if he doesn't get top 4, get him out already, and then the cycle repeats? What would your metrics be in terms of like measuring what would be a success for him next season, like if he comes in? Okay.
I think the minimum is top 4, like for any United manager. Given the strength, given the caliber of the team, and given the financial ability to buy players in the off season, it's basically like the minimum. So and it's a huge pressure to have coming into the team, honestly. But yeah, I guess that's the thing when you're dealing with a big club, right? So it's tricky. So in that sense, I don't know, maybe Poch would have been a better appointment. I think from the way, from his Tottenham experience, right, building up a team, never could get into like the top 4 for the longest time. transition a mid-tier team into like a top 4 team, which is and unless let's forget Dele Alli for a moment, but like Harry Kane and stuff like that. But you know what I mean. So maybe someone like Poch would have been great. But Poch just never won the Prem. So
and I guess when the opportunity did come to appoint someone who did win the Prem, Antonio Conte, Man U did pass up on him. I mean, I don't think we've asked you this before. Where do you stand on that? Like, was it the right decision to pass up on Conte now that he's sort of getting a bit of a rhythm out of Spurs?
I feel like Conte's play style is just not suited to United, though.
Okay.
Like, I think it's not an out and out attack that people like have come to grow and love. It's a bit more of like a hold up play, strong. I think anywhere he's gone, like pretty much defense is pretty much like rock solid, right? So like Conte, I think when he was there, then he got like Chelsea to pretty much be like at the back, super solid. It was like crazy. But United is kind of like with the exception of like like the Vidic and like the Evra era, right? Like never been much of a defensive team.
It must hurt, I guess, Manchester United fans to see Liverpool and Man City steaming so far ahead of everyone. How many years do you think it will take Man U to like catch up then?
I would say about 3 years.
3 years.
And I think we can circle back on this in 3 years' time, like this exact conversation. Because like I think it's a mixture of getting the right youth team in, like like the right youth players in the right positions, to really build that DNA back. And it's also a thing about just like really getting settled on a coach and staying with it long term. I think the problem is like I think like what you mentioned, it's like you look for immediate success and then you don't really find it. And it's a lot of pressure on the managers to kind of pull that across the line when the team doesn't really play for them. So maybe a big name manager able to get that fear back into the team, kind of a bit more like Alex Ferguson style, where everyone's kind of like terrified of him. Maybe that will shake up the whole team and get them to start playing for the club again.
Quite a tough conundrum for United over the summer. I guess it'll be quite interesting to see also.
Cool. Thanks for having me on. Awesome.
And so next time, hopefully, it'll be with everyone else also. And maybe with better times for Man U.
It's okay. Bad or good times too, United fan.
Very interesting views from Sri. If you, of course, agree or disagree, let us know in the comments section down below. A lot of us we were reacting after Spurs, of course, lost the early game 1-0 at home to Brighton. Imran was saying like, Spurs trying to make the top 4 race interesting. No. We have to wait for Arsenal to lose 1-0 away to Southampton. Have to start with Spurs. 0 shots on target against Brighton. Not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Brighton has been playing quite well, right? Just last week they won Arsenal, was it? So they've been winning quite a couple of games recently, back on form again. I know at the start of the season they were like top 4, like for a moment, right? When they went on their run. So they're quite a good team this season. But in terms of Spurs, I think they are still like they have been up and down, but I think they are still going to be steadier than the other top 4 contenders and will make it to the end. Because not like the others have been very steady, right? And I would assume Conte is a more experienced coach than either of the other teams, so he probably can navigate it better.
Conte also did start saying before the game that Matt Doherty being out for the season is a big blow for Spurs. Yeah, because Manjo, of course, one of those who was criticizing Doherty quite a lot.
Honestly, I don't remember giving that take about Matt Doherty.
Okay.
But
I think it was quite early in the season.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like I remember last season he wasn't even playing. Then now he's like a critical part of the squad. So props to Conte for that. But I personally do not rate Emerson Royal whatsoever. Sometimes I think he's a bit of a hater's chicken. Even when he defends, when he attacks, know what he does. I think Doherty is more Korean, like more of a, what do you call that? Like a jack of all trades kind of player. He does most things well. Or I know if you have to start Emerson Royal, then that's a big blow to your top 4 hopes.
Actually, this might be a top 4 race that might be decided by wingbacks. Arsenal, of course, with their first choice wingbacks, Kieran Tierney and Tomiyasu both out as well. So who knows? Man U, even though their wingbacks not quite as good, they still have working wingbacks. Maybe that might win it for them. Disappointed with Arsenal's result against Southampton?
Of course, I think so. I'm disappointed in general at Arsenal's slip over the past few games. Right? I don't know what the hell Arteta is doing or why the players aren't performing suddenly, even though the squad is pretty much the same. So the only reason they can attribute it is really the fullbacks. But I think that is a bit of a weak excuse. Yeah, so it's disappointing, but Arsenal are just doing Arsenal things quite epically now. Normally it's after Christmas, but now they saved until the last month of the season.
I mean, they are a weak squad, so any little
Yeah.
thing to upset the balance, they gone already.
Yeah, to be fair, top four, if they finish top four, is a huge bonus. We were predicting them to be like Europa or even the Conference League, or not at all. So like, I think they are already kind of overperforming expectations.
Okay, but of course, this is 3 defeats in a row for Arsenal. Of course, pending this midweek game against Chelsea, it might be 4 in a row. This is a good segue to mention Arsenal versus Manchester United, the big game of the weekend. This might decide a top 4 race, or I guess maybe it might knock out one of them in terms of being a top 4 contender. Could Arsenal lose 5 in a row? If they lose to Chelsea in midweek.
For sure, I think it's very possible they lose 5 in a row. Lose to Chelsea, and I think Cristiano Ronaldo might enjoy playing against Arsenal. I just have that feeling like Ronaldo might do quite well against Arsenal. So I think dangerous for Arsenal. If they lose against United, I think they're definitely out of top 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea, maybe they can still get away and hope everyone else slips out again. But that's such a stupid way the season is panning out. Everyone's hoping for everyone to lose. But yeah, I think Arsenal are in trouble. Big trouble.
Will a draw do for both these teams, Arsenal, Man U, or will only a win suffice in order to remain in the top 4 race?
Arsenal, Man U. I mean, I want to say a draw will suffice there, but just because they have been slipping up so much, right? So it's like whatever you draw, but other players are gonna slip up also. But that will give Spurs a chance to get a bit ahead, right? But that's the thing, they have been a little bit ahead also. Arsenal have been a little bit ahead at some point, but they all managed to lose that lead. So I think I don't think anybody will be out of the top 4 race despite losing this.
Okay.
Just because the other teams may continue losing. So
I remember that Manjun may have mentioned that this fixture, Arsenal Man U, tends to not really throw out many goals. Will it be any different this time?
Not sure about that, but I'm quite sure that Arsenal will lose. I don't think they got a very good record against top 4 teams or top 6 teams in the league this season. I think their form mostly comes from like beating mid-table teams and lower teams. Up to now, up to 3 games ago. Fully expect a loss. 2-1 Man U.
I think it's gonna be a draw. I think it's gonna be 1-1.
I'll go for a fun, big scoring game. I'll go for another 3-2 for United.
I'm going to go 2-1 Man U as well, the same as Manjun. Okay, in terms of the other top 4 contender for Spurs will be away to informed Brentford. They are so informed, in the last 6 games. If you're just looking at the 6 games, Brentford will be 3rd in the table, only behind Liverpool and Chelsea. So it's 5 wins in 6 for Brentford now. Yeah, they did beat Watford. I think more or less this more or less kills off Watford's chances of survival already. Have to start with Adrian. Is this a potential banana skin for Spurs?
Yeah, actually, I think quite a big banana skin, but I don't know. Will Brentford get another win? Sounds like a bit impossible. It's like, when is it gonna stop? Okay, I think Spurs will have a reaction after their loss last week. So I think last week it's just a blip because they've been on quite a good run, right? Like 5 wins in 6 games or something, similar to Brentford, and only lost last week to a very good Brighton side. So I think Tottenham will get back to winning ways. 1-0.
Back Brentford's form, I think it'll be a draw, like 1-1.
I think this game will be similar to the Villa game. I think it's more like Spurs just counter, have like 30% possession. Then Brentford just like keep attacking the whole first half. I supposed to expect more of the same result. I think Spurs will win this. I'll go for 2-0 Spurs.
Spurs win 3-2. Chelsea, of course, had the FA Cup at the weekend. Did beat Crystal Palace. I don't know if Robin watched that.
Yes. But it wasn't smooth sailing. Like first half we were pretty bad. Second half we still needed to fight for it. So Crystal Palace was quite well organised. So Chelsea perhaps suffering from a bit of fatigue from Champions League also, to be fair. But yeah, we got the job done. That's all I can ask for. West Ham's gonna be tough also though.
Yeah. Of course, the other FA Cup tie was England definitely watched that. It was, of course, Liverpool against Manchester City.
I don't know what the pundits are watching or Klopp. They said that the first half was like one of the best halves Liverpool like has played or what, but I don't think so. It's like they weren't playing that well. It's just that Man City weren't playing that well either. So it wasn't the high quality game that we saw last week in the EPL. It's more of both sides were a bit leggy and tired and mentally and physically drained, I guess. So it's just that Liverpool, I mean, this is when how clinical a side is starting to show. So this is what Liverpool have been doing all season. They can grind to wins even without playing well. And in this case, it's really low. It's like the front players are just more clinical. That's about it.
Yeah, but in terms of both Chelsea and Liverpool's matches this upcoming week, I think we can start with Chelsea West Ham.
As for like to be practical, I think West Ham should just stop caring about the league. Yeah, to be honest, just push all their chips for the Europa League and try to aim for the freaking Champions League. I think that's their best chance. I don't see them really. I think they put up a fight as usual. Somehow the best side of West Ham when it comes out in the Europa League. Don't know why. So I still got to go for a Chelsea win for this.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea will have to work too hard for a win. Maybe like a small win, 1-0.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think West Ham don't really have a lot to play for already. They're not really in the top four race, maybe in the Europa League, but can clearly see that maybe they are going more for the Europa League than the league at this point. So yeah, I think it's going to be a Chelsea win 2-0.
I agree. I'm also going to go Chelsea win. Chelsea win 2-1.
I'll go much tighter. I'll go for 1-0, especially after the
Technically,
Arsenal
it's
game.
equally tight, but okay. Okay, in terms of the Liverpool versus Everton Merseyside derby,
I don't think they will really challenge Liverpool that much, especially at Anfield. Actually, it doesn't matter for Everton. Anfield or not Anfield, they still suck anyways. And also, I still want to see Everton fail. So I'm going to go for a comprehensive Liverpool win. 3-0, 3-0.
Liverpool, of course, have had the most games where they've scored 3 or more goals in the Premier League. It's 14. Of course, this will take them up to 15. Noticeably, I don't know if you're interested in this, but in the top 4 tiers of English football, the team with the most games with 3+ or more goals, can you guess? Of course, it's a Fulham with 15 goals. So that's small plug for my own team there.
I think it'll be quite an easy win for Liverpool, actually. Sadly for Frank. 2-0 though. Yeah.
Okay. This might bring back a bit of bad memories for England last season. Of course, this might have been the last game where Liverpool had that long streak of home defeats. This was, of course, a home defeat to Everton, Richarlison scoring early on. I think it was like 3rd minute or something. But I don't think you will say that that's going to be anywhere close to what's going to happen this time around.
It won't and if anything, I think this game is just gonna spur Liverpool players on more because I think they really don't like Everton. 3-0 win.
Liverpool 3-1. There is another title contender. Manchester City will be back in action in the Premier League. Of course, they'll be at home against Watford. I would say, arguably, Watford are now the worst team in the Premier League, even though Norwich are below them. How many will Man City score against Watford? I think it's a better question.
I think 4-0.
I'll just go 2-0.
I think Watford are damn bad. Then go to go worse. Then go for 16.
I'm going to go in between England and Madrid. Why not? 5-0. I mean, it's a sooner or later thing that Watford's relegation will get confirmed, I guess. I think their easy fixtures have sort of run out also. But speaking of the relegation fight, one team unexpectedly did pull the trigger on their manager. Burnley sacked Sean Dyche this week. I think it was pretty much surprising for a lot of people to hear, especially there's only 8 games left. And now they've come out to say that they're not going to appoint a long-term manager. They just want an interim manager following the Manchester United model because that worked so well. So in terms of this, I have to ask Manjun, who do you think Burnley are going to appoint and why is it Sam Allardyce?
Wait. I thought they're going to appoint Ben Mee.
Ben is the interim.
Yeah, interim.
Yeah. I thought they're going to appoint Ben Mee.
But until the end of the season.
Yeah. Ben Mee and the coaching staff. I mean, that was what I read. I mean, some satire news, but then it's under quite real.
As in, he's temporarily in charge now until they get someone.
Yeah. What happened to all the coaches? They fire all the coaches also.
No, all the coaches left with Sean Dyche. So loyalty, yeah.
I'm trying to see who else they have. Who else have been sacked recently and still available? If only Steve Bruce was still here.
But the thing about Burnley now is what are they trying to achieve? Are they still thinking that they can survive with the right appointment? Or are they building for next season really?
I thought if they want to build next season, they probably will keep Dyche.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, he's a proven championship person.
Yeah, so I think it means that they think they still got a chance.
3 points only. 3 points are one game back. 1 game back, 3 points back.
Okay lah, still got chance.
I think they can take a swing.
Okay.
Especially after Everton kena
Yeah,
trashed by Liverpool then.
I think they can take a swing. Whether it's
So-
Big Sam or not, I don't know. To me,
Okay.
he has been so out of it. I don't know whether actually appointing he'll be good. Like, he's still using his 2010 tactics. He might not apply to 2022.
See your Burnley chairman. Which manager are you going to go for?
Chris Potter.
Yeah, who to go for? I thought they would have survived first. Who can they get? Yeah, Wayne Rooney.
Maybe. Wayne Rooney.
I'm not quite sure who's going to go there because everybody knows that Burnley don't spend money also. Yeah, they're always going to sell their players as well. So, yeah, I think a bit sad for them. Sean Dyche, like it's sort of a marriage made in heaven. Nobody's going to appoint Sean Dyche. Nobody wants to be Burnley manager. Yeah. Although that's a realistic question though, I have to ask Manjun, like, is Sean Dyche going to get another Premier League job? Or does he have to start again from the Championship?
I was going to say if like Norwich survives, probably he has
Maybe.
the chance. Yeah, because I mean he has his taste in players you can tell. The boring as one. So unlikely like a club who wants to play nice attacking football will hire Sean Dyche. Yeah, I think you give him a lot of money, he wouldn't know what to do with it. Well, I think maybe you can just try to stick with Ben Mee. Like who even fucking knows, right?
I did consider doing a joke about Ben Mee, but yeah.
Try. What is it?
Something about like, they sacked Sean Dyche and appointed me, but it's not funny. So
Changing the coach right now for some random current player doesn't seem like a recipe for victory. Like they are gonna be so disorganized. Like why would you listen to one guy then he want to make sub also? Very very strange position to be in. Yeah, I don't think they'll win at all. I think
imagine they're going to bring a sub on and then like, who are you going to bring on? Me.
yeah,
Kind of
sub himself.
Okay, let's say for example he does pretty well. Would you endorse Ben Mee for Burnley?
No lah. So next year he's going to come back and play. Like now he's injured.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, why would you do the same job, 2 different jobs for the same pay?
I mean, I'm sure if
I wouldn't do
upon
it.
him interim manager, he's going to get a pay rise for sure.
I don't think so. I think if they do that, I think he's gone next season.
What am I talking about? Burnley don't give pay rises, but some people having to stay up to watch football games tonight. Actually, just speaking of that, Robin, do you stay up to watch Chelsea Indian?
Yes, I did. I woke up to watch.
Well, imagine it.
Wow,
your heart cannot take it.
That game was true roller coaster. It's beautiful, man. we had so much hope that we were gonna make it. Then Modric had that wonderful pass. Then extra time we couldn't tank anymore. I think Real Madrid just had brief moments of quality, then they converted. The Benzema's goal to make it 3-2, Rudiger kind of slipped so a bit sway, but we couldn't finish the chances so a bit wasted. Can't feel angry about it. Like we really played so damn well.
People have been asking Liverpool pundits like how many titles are Liverpool going to win? Do you think it's feasible for Liverpool? I mean, it's possible Liverpool win 4 titles, but how many do you think Liverpool will win eventually? You already have the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, I think 3 because because 3 are the ones that are in our control. The EPL is not in our control, so
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so that one can't really do anything about that. But I think FA Cup finals against Chelsea is doable, and then Villarreal is definitely doable, and then Champions League finals.
Okay, in terms of Villarreal doable, I mean a lot of teams underestimated Villarreal, Bayern Munich being one of them. I don't know. I'm pretty sure none of us watched that game. But how much credit does Unai Emery deserve to bring Villarreal to a semi-final?
I mean, he's the European Cup specialist. So I mean, so it's not something that we don't know already. And Bayern haven't been doing particularly well this season as well, I think. They've been solid, but like nothing spectacular. And teams like Villarreal is like truly the one shot, one kill, and they just defend all the way. A bit like how Mourinho used to do it last time. So
Unai Emery, the new Jose Mourinho.
No but I think he does better in underdog teams because his style of play maybe suits them more. Then when he has to go to like PSG, Arsenal, those type where they want you to play more attractive football and like with a more dominant style, maybe he doesn't do as well. But this kind like the more tactical one, then he's better.
The championship update, of course. Last night, Monday night, there were already some games played. There will be some more games played tonight on Tuesday night. But one thing has already been decided. Derby County have fallen. I guess in a sense kind of expected, but in a way also kind of poetic that one comeback from Reading was to end Derby's comeback from relegation. Reading, of course, were the team that Derby had to catch in terms of surviving. Basically, going into it, Derby needed to match Reading's result. Reading were losing 4-1 at halftime to Swansea, and Derby was 0-0 at halftime against QPR. Reading amazingly came back to draw 4-4 against Swansea, and Derby lost 1-0 to QPR. That actually sealed Wayne Rooney's team's fate. Of course, they'll be in League One for the first time since 1986. So that's a very long time. They'll be joining Manjun's favourite team, Sunderland, in League One.
Yes.
I don't know how many seasons has it been, but Sunderland are like seemingly stuck down there. Yeah. So that's more or less the one thing that was decided. In terms of like the other thing that could be decided tonight, because Fulham will be going for promotion for the third attempt. It's been 2 disappointing weeks where we've lost back-to-back for the first time this season. We'll be at home against Preston tonight. I think we need to win, if I'm not wrong, or we can't lose, something like that. But yeah, I think so long as we don't lose, we'll be up by tonight. So I'm sure you'll be waking up tomorrow to see if there's any Insta story from my profile. If there's nothing, then you know what has happened.
I think either ways, you also post something.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but yeah, I'll post something either ways. But I mean, because more or less, if we don't win now, next week it'll be our 4th attempt anyway. But it's just that it's very stupid that we're waiting so long to get promoted. In terms of like finding a replacement for Fabio Carvalho, we've already found. The deal is, I think, almost done. It's Shakhtar Donetsk, Manos Salomon, the Israeli international, sort of linked with Arsenal and Spurs. But I think because of the war in Ukraine and all that, we managed to get him on a cheaper deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So well, other teams have done that also. So we're not the only unethical people. In terms of the S League, of course, Manjun with big news. Lion City Sailors, of course, S League team, have gotten Singapore's only our 2nd win in the AFC Champions League ever. I don't know who the other first one was from, but previously we've been tanking in the Champions League now. Like Tampines Rovers, every season they go into the Champions League, played 6, lose 6 in the group stage. So this is a big deal for Singaporean football, I guess you can say that.
But I know it's a good week for Southeast Asia, and the 3 teams representing us in AFC Champions League. So congrats to the 3 teams, which I totally forgot who the fuck they are. There's the Sailors, right? Sailors, there's Fandi Ahmad's, there's Irfan Fandi's team, and there's JDT.
The Thailand one now.
Yeah, the BG something. Yeah, okay. And JDT. I mean, they're going to win the league for sure in Singapore. So maybe they can progress far in the Champions League.
Who did they beat though?
Daegu FC from Korea. I don't think they're doing that well. I think I saw yesterday they're like in the mid-table of the K-League. Yeah. So not good times for Daegu. Even worse times for Guangzhou Evergrande. Fuck. I think they just got wrecked by some Japanese team 8-0 or something like that. Yeah.
I thought like this banded or something.
Yeah. Like there are no more foreign imports. So it's just nameless Chinese players. Yeah. So that's why they're getting wrecked. They have no profile pictures on the football app. That's what I say.
Oh wow, okay, that's
nice. This is how nameless. Even Singapore clubs have that. And imagine these players.
What app are you using that Singapore club have the players' faces on?
The same app I was using, I know. The Fort Mod is that what people are using?
Oh, they have S-League players' faces. That's actually not bad.
Irfan Fandi is there.
Oh, they own self upload one, is it?
Maybe you can. Maybe you
profile
can.
pic.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I was so surprised. I thought at Guangzhou maybe their team got COVID and they don't play their young players. But no, from the starting 11 to the bench, everybody has no DP. Yeah.
Can I just say, right at the start when I was asking you about this, it seemed like you didn't know anything. But this seems very in-depth knowledge about the AFC.
I knew about the other shit. This is all I care about. I don't really care about football. I care about shit like this. Yeah.
But are they like, I don't know who are the big teams in terms of like the Asian Champions League. Are they like well-known teams or like favorites?
I think it's all the standard ones, no man. Uara Red Diamonds from Japan.
Yeah, are they some Korean clubs or something?
Yeah, probably like some don't know what. All the one the motto behind and all the don't know what. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe I think end of the day it'll be the Saudi teams that
Saudi.
probably make it through. Yeah.
Okay. You're
Okay,
saying
sure.
that because of your background.
Yes, totally. All the best. I hope it's a Saudi team.
I don't think I can name any Saudi teams, but they probably all start with L something. Who knows what L means in Arabic? Probably
Maybe
is
just
the.
Just
Yeah,
the
it's the
it's the club. Yeah.
See,
The club.
who says you don't learn anything from this show? Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed our review of match week 34. Hopefully your teams will do well, of course, except Preston for tonight. Even though we know nothing, hopefully today you've learned something. We'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.